bam, skippity bop boo, skippity boop bow. Hey everybody, welcome back to Karandrin Role Playing. My name is Kevin Manus Pennings, also known as Cracked Palantir, and I will be your host and game master for this episode 145 of Brise's Tale. And as always, my good buddy Max is here to play the beautiful and talented paladin Brise. Max, say hello to the lovely people.
Hey everybody, hope you're having a stupendous evening tonight.
That's right. We left off in kind of a non-cliffhanger because of a very interesting episode last week.
We left off at the bottom of the cliff.
The bottom of the cliff. That's right. after the fall, and now we're beginning the recovery. So why don't you give us a bit of a recap regarding last week, Max, and then we will dive into what we're doing.
Well, to find out what happened last week, we need to go back 2 weeks ago to see where Brise was exploring a certain hallway of the catacombs beneath Pesidarius. And in this hallway, we found two creatures, these small tornado-like beings who were kind of coming towards me very slowly. And as I approached them, I felt kind of overwhelmed by tiredness. And my cat familiar, also overwhelmed by tiredness, ended up falling asleep, right in their path as they're moving slowly down this tunnel. So I went to go grab him and bumped my head and thought nothing of it. Then things started to get a little weird. So I managed to escape from the beings by climbing atop, actually being lifted by a statue of Oxir, one of the gods of this world, and lifted me onto his head and allowed me to escape the catacombs. Some kind of divine power must have opened an exit, and Brise was like, okay. So we went out of there, and we ended up in a place that was like Pesidarius, but seemed everything was a little off. Right, there was a clock tower, which I didn't remember being in the city, as well as the time seemed wrong. It felt a little chillier than normal, and things ensued. I found myself basically being taken care of by a woman. What was her name? Elven woman.
Athora.
Lady Athora. I found myself in her care, kind of recovering from a fumbled spell, in her bed, in one of her guest rooms. But this one servant kept seemed to try to tell me something, trying to warn me about my condition, right? About some state I was in, not just related to the spell fumble, but something else. This chill that I have that I couldn't shake. And the woman turned out to be Elbrig, the servant woman, who is an elven, was an elven sorcerer who could influence the dreams of other people. We know her to be, her spirit basically is apparently still able to come into people's dreams, because we know she passed long ago. But I recognize her in my dream finally, realizing this is a dream and confronting the Lady Athora, the two Lady Athoras who suddenly came out of nowhere. And then the dream ends and we find ourselves back in the tunnel, in the catacombs, right where I had bumped my head. These two beings had been hovering about my head, kind of influencing me with this dream, sucking my life force away. Is the only best way to describe it, because when I woke up, I feel cold and unmotivated really to do anything. So I ended up just teleporting out of the catacombs, making my way back to the Brandy Fire, where I've just been spending some time among some adventurers, trying to kind of make myself feel better, get the light back in my spirit, so to speak. A lot of very involved session. Definitely go check it out if you haven't seen that episode.
Yeah,
So,
it was. I mean, it's a little taken away from it a little bit just to say it was all a dream, but but that's sort of unavoidable given the serialization of these sorts of things. But but yeah, it was a neat episode. Had some good tension to it, I thought. So yeah, so you're back at. Are you back at your inn? I forget, or if you
yes,
just chose you
Rainy
back
Fire
at
is
your,
where I'm staying. Yeah, I have a room
right.
there.
And so you just found a group of very welcoming adventurers, and you guys are sitting around and just chewing the fat. And
Yeah, we've been talking for a few hours already. It's now mid-afternoon. So
and yeah, and
still a bit warm.
they themselves are sort of at a loss as to what they. Hey, Obi-Wan. Um, what what their next plans are, and so on. They had been confronting a cult somewhere in the interior of the country.
Ball.
Yeah,
Ball.
and and decided to retreat to the coast, both to regroup, but also to seek more information. And they haven't had a great deal of luck with that. Um, and But they are at least very welcoming, um, and you sort of need that kind of company to literally regain your spirits. Um, so um, so yeah, so you're there. There, as you said, it was early mid afternoon, and um, there's a group of six, as I recall,
Yeah.
and um, you guys are swapping stories. And is there any information you want to apply them for um, while you have the thing, or are you just here to soak in the conviviality?
Mostly to soak it in. I'll ask them about the beings that I encountered. Um, See if they have heard of anything like that. I describe it to them. Him we joked. It was like, just sit down with these adventurers. Like, guys, I just had this crazy dream. I know you don't know who I am, but
Right.
let's try to be cautious about it.
Right.
Introduce it.
Um, they tell you that there are forms of elementals that can appear that way, but nothing that deals with dreams.
Right.
Some have heard rumors that there's an entire school of dream magic, particularly among mentalists and seers. But none of them have any experience with that, and it's supposed to be a fairly rare school. To find the spell books that deal in such a thing is quite a prize. You would definitely be able to parlay that for some serious money should you find one. And there are demons that they have heard rumored can influence your dreams, interact with you through dreams, and harm you through dreams, but nothing like what you've described.
Well, I mentioned that they left me with the kind of chill a demon might once it touches your soul. So I wouldn't be surprised if what I encountered is something of that nature.
They look at you, with greater worry, and tell you that, depending on how much influence it's had on you, and how long you've been under its influence. You should observe your behavior carefully. You may find yourself not quite yourself.
It's like my hands like reaching for, one of their pockets. I don't know what you're talking about. Perfect.
One of your clawed hands is settling through talons and scaly.
I asked them, what kind of sign should I look out for? I've not heard of something like this.
Changes to who you are. Being short with people, lack of generosity of spirit, and you do find yourself getting irritated at the suggestion. None of your damn business.
I'm not sure with you. What do you mean I'm sure with you?
Exactly.
Stop it.
So, you could come to have the traits of a demon, which is, of course, fundamentally an unkind creature.
Right.
That's its own special torment. It'll drive you away from people unless you won't seek company. You'll shy away from it.
Right.
Seek solitude. You'll seek darkness.
That's worrying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tell you, what you've heard before. Stay warm. Stay around people. Stay around laughter and song. The temples can do some, but they can only do so much after. Sounds like you're talking about politics. Yeah. A good one, Gwen.
Oh.
I have this weird thing where my shoulder here seems to be blending in with a door, and I go, "Where's my shoulder? I can just see this line." I have to keep doing it. Okay, I'm fine.
Part of the door. Someone opens the door, you just go like.
Yeah, we're all proud of Max, Quinn. He got a haircut. We're all proud of him.
I did change my hair. I think the demonic influence is starting to change me too.
That's right.
Maybe I'll stop destroying magic items now.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking before the session, a part of me wonders if Brise would feel like going back to the keep, right? Being back among people she knows. I don't know how strongly I feel I might roll for it. Yeah.
And Aldrich certainly is a tempting thought,
Right. Maybe we'll wait today, take it easy, and then tomorrow morning we can roll to see how I feel about staying in Pesidarius versus returning to the keep.
Right. So you guys talk for another half hour or so. Yeah. It's mid-afternoon. They feel like they've kind of, wasted enough time, and they've got to kind of make decisions and so on.
Right.
And so some go leave to seek out you remember there was a sea captain that they were hoping to talk to, who had dealings with the cult that they had tangled with. Mm-hmm. And so some of them leave to go do that. Others go to sort of run the errands that adventurers run in town, selling off loot and tying up loose ends like we do. And so they all, part amicably with you. They tell you they'll be in town for at least another day. So, save them some seats at a table, and they'll be sure to seek you out. Just a very warm group.
Yeah.
And you guys all exchange names, and we can handle that later, as it becomes relevant. Roll for me.
17.
So what would you like to do?
I think we're just going to take it easy today for the rest of the day.
Okay.
If I feel up to it, I might find like a library, could do some like quiet, study in, or I guess maybe that's not the best idea since I'm rather stay around, warm places, right?
And and not sit in quiet solitude and study.
Exactly. Yeah. I was just thinking of something that Brise enjoys, that isn't that isn't nearly getting herself killed. Besides
Right.
that,
Right.
that's the one thing we shouldn't be doing right now. Yeah, so we'll probably hang around the brandy fire, just in the common room,
Roll
reading,
for me.
and 27.
Okay. And what would you like to read?
Let me check my books. I know it was. Whoops. So I finished the book on Faye. This book, Wonders of the Ages. It's an 800-page book that may have a potential mention of the great sky rings. I also have my book on golems.
Okay.
Either of those.
Why don't you pick one?
Let's read the book on golems.
Okay. Roll for me.
45.
So before you realize it, many hours have passed.
Okay.
And you realize that you have just sort of unconsciously found yourself, placed yourself in a dark corner away from the fire. You're back to the wall, and you've been hiding behind a book. And when you're not hiding behind a book, you're still keeping it open so that people can't see you. And you're like, whoa, I didn't even realize, like, when did I do this?
Right.
And you kind of piece together, it was like soon after they left, I kind of moved to make, because it was a larger table. I wanted to make room for. So I remember moving to a smaller table, and then to a smaller table, and then moving here. And I just never left. I've been here for hours in the dark, in this dark corner.
Well, damn.
You remember just watching people suspiciously. You find that you have drawn your dagger, and it's beside you on the seat.
Do I feel safe enough to sheath my dagger?
Roll.
98.
Yeah, with an act of will, you put away the dagger, convince yourself that you're safe, that there's nothing really going on.
Whew.
You have been reading on and off. To make a note here. Yeah, it's just these unconscious actions.
Yeah.
Perfectly innocent at the time. I'll just move to this table. Well, this one's uncomfortable. I'll move to this table. And you find yourself in the dark now, far away from the hearth. You kept one candle lit on your table so you could read. You blew out the other the candles on the tables to either side.
Mm.
What would you like to do? It's now evening.
Okay.
They are serving supper.
Well, I should probably eat something, even if I don't feel like it. It's been that long. So I make an effort to go, return to a table closer to the fire.
Roll for me.
24.
You're fine where you are.
Okay. Maybe we'll ask them to bring me some food if I could wave them down. This isn't so bad. This little corner over here, I could probably save money. It's 2 gold a piece a night. Maybe I can do 1 gold a piece. Just sleep right here.
That's right. It's so comfortable and cozy.
Bring me a chamber pot, please. That's all I ask. Oh my gosh. Okay.
They bring you food.
Is there a spell to make me happier?
Any spell you don't fumble makes you happier.
I cast charm on myself. Haha.
I believe I am my own good friend. And no one else is. You try to cast charm on someone else, so they treat you like a good friend, and you feel like you have company, to interact with.
Wow, that's pretty dark. Oh.
It's the equivalent of joining a fraternity. Who remembers that? Those jokes from college. Yeah, I like paying for my friends too.
Only one kind you have.
So, you recall how much a meal costs?
It is.
I know it's not cheap here.
Yeah, I gotta write it down. Come on. 4 silver pieces.
There you go.
And I give her an extra silver piece if you get something for Azrael too.
Yeah.
And how is he faring?
Clearly a little warier of you.
Oh no.
Your face is achy around the mouth, and you realize it's from scowling. Finish your food. It's early evening. Dark is just falling outside. The group of adventurers have not returned, unless you've just missed them in your seclusion.
My stupor.
Mm-hmm.
is here's a thought. I know I'm not a fan of gambling. Are there any games like people play besides gambling in like taverns and inns? Right, just like cards without any stakes or something like that.
Yeah. And there's some games going on.
Might be a good thing to keep my mind occupied.
Right. Get some interaction.
Roll I've unlocked a new ability, resting bitch face.
That's hilarious.
Usually I attract all sorts of company because of my beauty. So now I can shun them away.
That's right. You have an automatic deflection. That and a book about golems.
Yeah. Do you say you want me to roll?
Yeah.
99. What are these rolls?
Lovely. So yeah, you really pull yourself up and pack away your books. You're like, I'm not, I've got to stay open to company and things like that. Go and
bring it on, world.
Sit in on a game until there's a seat that opens up or a new hand is dealt.
Where are you? Yeah, that's right.
It's a game that you're somewhat familiar with. It's a
dice game we can play right now.
That's right.
First person to roll 100 wins.
That's right. So yeah, you. It's a good choice. You play for the rest of the evening. Rolled a double aught, so you do terribly at the game. You don't win a hand, but you. It's a group of merchants. No real information about anything gleaned. But they're older men. They seem to be old card buddies who come here regularly and play. You definitely feel better. You feel warmer inside. Let's say you spend 5 gold through the evening.
Sounds good.
Game winds down. You retire for the evening. Roll for me.
79.
Fitful sleep throughout the night. You keep dreaming of storms in the city, powerful winds. You find yourself like running from building to building, helping people who are caught out in the storm. You wake up and come back to the same dream. And you finally rouse yourself. It's well past noon.
Oh, wow.
When do you customarily cast the spell on Azrael?
Usually just after I've, had breakfast and washed up. do I gain it back on my exhaustion or
Your exhaustion
when I went to bed?
is at 55.
Okay.
Your PowerPoints, how many were you maxed out at PowerPoints?
I was at 41 out of
Oh.
51.
You're at 48. Fitful sleep.
All right.
I'm fed up. It's already.
I played this game to have fun, Kevin. I'm just kidding. I like this. This is the other side of role playing that's kind of different about Karandrin that I like.
The sort of long-term consequences.
Yeah, just like dealing with, okay, that was not a physical injury, but just almost like a kind of mental or spiritual one. Just
right.
Recovering from that, figuring out how to deal with it.
Roll for me.
21.
You're hesitant to see people. Thanks, Quinn.
One place Karandrin.
You don't feel as cold. But you do kind of dread seeing people outside. Which is not to say you can't go, but I will require a roll.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got my water refilled. I was debating. I'm so dry mouthed from talking.
I feel like a little bit of Brise likes the outdoors. A little bit of outdoors would do me good. So, just at least step outside, breathe some fresh air, and see how I feel then. And then we'll see if I can get breakfast in my room if I really want.
Only CPS finding Karandrin, eh, Karen? Huh?
The Black Arrow. Actually, does my room have a window or no?
It does.
Okay, so I'll just open the window, breathe in some of the sea air, and look upon the city from a distance.
People going about their lives. It's busy. It's an overcast day. Interestingly, there is a group of Sith, of the lizard men from the southern nation, passing through. It's a rarity.
Oh, excuse me.
What sun there is does make you feel better. But you can tell you're having a hard time fighting off negative thoughts about the people who are down there. You find yourself, like, you see two people talking. You're like, are they talking about me? What are they talking about? Just sort of inherently suspicious as someone. You're like, that makes no sense. No one knows I'm here. It's just me, You're definitely hungry. You feel like you can brave the commons room.
All right. Let's try that then.
Very busy. Group of adventurers are at a table. They haven't spotted you.
Sorry, Obi-Wan, for giving you PTSD this episode. PKSD.
Post-Karandrin stress disorder. That's fantastic. So you do see them. What would you like to do?
Sorry, who did I see?
The group of adventurers.
Okay. Yeah, no, let's cautiously just walk up to them and wish them a good morning. And
they all greet you warmly. Roll for me.
40.
Some are clearly worried about you, looking at you. They fetch a chair for you to fit at their crowded table. They ask if you've eaten. Say no. They call for hot soup for you. You add on something, for Azrael.
Yeah.
They pay for it. Did you sleep? One asks.
I said I tried to, but didn't come easily.
But you did sleep.
A little.
You look tired. You look pale.
Don't tell me. Oh, actually, I mean, Brise would probably kind of be very she's self-conscious about her appearance. I would, try to shrink a little bit. It's like, is it that bad? Now people are really going to be talking about me. Great.
That's right. Mind your own damn business. How would you like resting black eye face?
Just turn, because we were talking about the Sith. Now I just think about the Emperor's. I don't talk to me. I feel great.
I feel like I have feasted on the blood of the living. What?
It was a succulent meal.
Everyone in here looks pale with 2 dots on their neck. Weird. So strange.
The energy just drained from this room.
Exactly. The energy drained from this room, Master. What?
Quinn, what kind of setup is that? What do you tell an Aldrich with 2 black eyes?
This is a play on a misogynistic joke. Finish up, Quinn. Pull the trigger.
All right. Don't keep us waiting then. You know how much Kevin loves his misogynistic jokes.
It's the only reason I started this stream. Are you kidding me? Role playing is like way down the list.
Oh. You done told him twice.
So they're still, worried about you. They urge you to eat the soup when it comes and eat every bit of it. Azrael still a little, shies away from your hand a little bit. You have to kind of mentally force him to come close enough for you to pat. And they go on talking about their luck at various things. You ask if they had any luck with their sea captain friend. The answer is no. All evidence points to a new generation running that cult, and the sea captain couldn't really add anything about it.
Right.
priestly research or temple research, despite sizable bribes to the librarian, um, turned out information on cults, which of course they're reluctant to let anybody read,
Right.
but nothing about the one that they're entangled with. The conversation has been, well, there are obviously other temples in town. They've tried there's at least several other large ones that they can go to. And those who went to sell the party's goods did fairly well. And so there's enough gold to continue to bribe and get into libraries they shouldn't be allowed access into. And you're kind of a little put off by the fact that, temple librarians can just be so easily bribed.
Right. Yeah, just add a bit to the bribe budget. It should be fine.
Right. That's basically how it's going, right?
Yeah.
And so, but, you're heartened to hear that, they are cautious about feeling out which priest might be willing to accept a bribe and who might call the paladins on you and
Right.
and get you thrown out of the temple. There's other thoughts about traveling to Alamar, which for our viewers is a city to the north.
Mm-hmm.
They have two sort of magical contacts, wizardly, sorcery sort of contacts. Maybe they know something. Maybe they can at least identify some of the magics they observed that they hadn't seen before in facing this cult. Mm-hmm. Magics involving shadow and smoke specifically. And if there are particular charms that might be useful against them, or if the fact of that magic tells them something that useful they might need to know.
So if I recall, they said this cult is operating out of Central Theaxia. Is there a specific city they named, or is it just kind of a region?
They seem to have spread regionally from Iron Falls.
Okay.
Let me make sure that's the right city. Where's Iron Falls? No, sorry. River Hill.
River Hill, Iron Falls. All portmanteaus. I'm thinking about my own experiences with the cult, the Iron Empress. I wonder if I have anything to add. I know that was kind of lucky, though, because I had a contact who was experienced in dealing with cults before, the Empress.
Right. Certainly you've learned that, sort of the architecture of it is the architecture of these is to get wealthy benefactors on board.
Right. And so I would mention that if, checking in if there's a specific city that, where you suspect the influence is, you can go to the tax offices and find, do the kind of financial approach, find out where money's being moved around and see if anything looks suspicious there. You might end up finding other things besides the cult, but.
So, like, if you know a meeting room, a meeting house, you can go to the tax office and find out who owns that building and all that sort of this research you guys did.
Right.
They had not considered that. At least get names. They have to assume that some of the wealth is coming out from mining, given that River Hill is a significant mining city, and the steeper hills before you reach the Dwarven Mountains but also the influence stretches to many of the larger villages along the Miners' March, which puts it near that large hill that's your landmark for teleportation in the middle of the exit.
Yeah.
Let's mount.
Mount Fedora, Mount
Curlew.
Mount Curlew.
And so there's some belief that they probably have some of the old miners' camps maybe now sort of places for ritual magic. Now abandoned, remote, away from prying eyes. So they discuss whether any visits to the tax office would be useful there, and the consensus is no, because if they're abandoned, then they're just walking in and taking them over without any real rights to them. And so the tax office wouldn't work there, but it would work for any sort of in a city sort of place where the like a residence that they might meet at. That would be helpful to know. So the dwarves, they seem to have a reputation, at least among this group, as being very anti-cult, more so than humans or elves. That they don't like any secret societies besides their own. And so maybe it's worthwhile, since River Hill is on the boundary, to turn to dwarven officials and see to what degree they've spread into Avalar, the dwarven nation. They order you another bowl of soup, hot, steaming.
All right.
And you find yourself surprisingly hungry. And the heat inside you definitely feels better than the chill that you've started not even to notice.
If the conversation's still going, I have a couple of things I might ask them.
Yeah.
So if they've heard of the Great Sky Rings, is it one topic I've been researching? Believe them to be weapons potentially, or some type of magic construct.
General look around the table is blank.
Okay.
Nor do they have a particular contact for you to go to.
Right. That's fine. And then the other thing, I do have this herb pouch I found in the catacombs. I believe it was, remember Mother Torum was her name, that witch I had come across.
Yeah.
The broom. I still have the broom too. And this herb pouch I found with all these. It says a quarter of the herb slots are filled and all the vial slots are filled, but I have no idea what. Maybe I can identify the herbs, but definitely not the potions. I wouldn't trust myself to do that too well.
So you want help identifying the
Yeah.
Potions.
Actually, let me double check what is herb lore basic, and then potions is. Oh man, let me put this in alphabetical order or something. Where's potions?
Solid.
Solid. Okay. Okay. Well, then maybe I would have tried to identify them first before I asked for help.
We can roll that up after the
Yeah.
stream. I can send you an email afterwards. And
Okay. I didn't realize I was that good at identifying potions. I guess we could say if there's any I couldn't identify right beforehand, I'd ask about those.
Right.
Yeah. We can roll up the others.
It looks like you were able to identify all of them.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll talk about that after the stream, and we'll shoot you an email and get that done.
Well, in that case, no other topics wanted to bring up with them really. At least stuff I was researching. Yeah, I think I already asked him about Holver as well. Although I think he did have a. Let me check. No, maybe not. I think because we had ended the session, right?
Okay.
So I would bring up if they've heard of there are 2 necromancers I'm trying to get information on active today in parts of Nargaz. And Holver and Volshad are their names. As I mentioned, Holver is known to have violet eyes.
They lean in. Not a name you want to mention lightly.
Which name? Holver?
I've been watching Venture Brothers, the cartoon, at a buddy's recommendation, and I'm not loving it, but there are moments that I love, and there's this one where this robot comes to judge all of Earth, and he's like, "Just act normally, ignore me."
Yeah.
He just cracks me up every time he does that. Just yells it at them.
I'm the same way. I try to watch Venture Brothers, and I'll laugh so hard at a couple moments, and the rest I'm just kind of not really into.
Yeah.
My dad loves it though. He's seen all of Venture Brothers.
Yeah, I'm trying to make my way through them. I find it very even just minute to minute, very uneven. You know, and they'll set something up, and you go, "Oh, I hope you keep going on that because that is such a great premise," and then you'll just drop it and start something new, and you're just like, "But that would have been." There was so much potential in that. What are you doing? And so,
that's just kind of the show, though. I just like that. It's very just,
I don't know. I don't know
what's structured. It feels like all improv almost, like the whole way.
It almost is. I need to read up on it. Maybe that's what it is.
Who knows?
Ignore me. That's my favorite episode.
That is really great.
Yeah. Holver is extraordinarily dangerous. They tell you. They're like, if you, it's best you operate very cautiously around him. He is vindictive, vicious. It's best he not figure out who you are if you're going to stand against him.
He's violent, vindictive, and vicious. Holver.
Holver. Hang on, I'll put up a thing on Holver.
Oh, that's right. It's with a Y. Holver. Hovire. He comes from southern Karandrin.
And that's it. Extreme Southern Karandrin. They didn't have dealings with him, but a group of fellow adventurers that they were close with did. They were driven basically out of the Pin clans by Holver.
Stephen Holver. Oh my God. From South Carolina. Okay, Gwen.
He seems to, his style seems to be to employ a handful of very powerful undead minions, as opposed to having dozens of maybe moderate or weaker ones.
Right.
And because of that, he can hit very, very hard from afar. Right. And he also has no reluctance in sending his minions into populated areas, which other necromancers will not do, because they don't want to draw undue attention to themselves until they're ready to take that attention. And Holver just does not care. Seems to revel in the terror that his forces cause in populated areas. But he operates very much behind the curtain.
Right. So I remember the Noglyph, and I also recall the flying creature. I wonder how many others. I'll tell them, I believe I've seen two of his servants, and I described them, the Noglyph and that creature. Both terrible, terrible creatures.
They've only heard of the Noglyph. They've never seen one.
Mm-hmm.
The other creature, they have no idea what it was that could be. But certainly in terms of menace, it certainly sounds like something he would employ.
Right.
And he has made enemies of royalty in the Pin clans. Specifically, Lord Hestus.
Right. Does that mean he's flying his banners out of spite? Or to associate him with his own, like, underhanded,
Well, it's also
necromancy, yeah.
It's also an invasion. Because it's as though Hestus is planting his flag in Goblin territory.
Right.
And the Pin clans, of course, are the Pin clans are human and Narguz is goblin. And so to hang a flag over a settlement, that means you're probably going to collect taxes from them. You're, implement law. I mean, it's like claiming that town.
Right.
So that is one mystery inadvertently solved. It would seem. Unless there's a crazy double bluff going on here.
I hate you, you hate me, right? Wink, wink.
Right.
Oh man. Let's hope it's not that. Not the Pen 15 clans, Gwen. Oh my god. The
Right.
10 clans.
The Maroon 5 clans.
All right, I'm gonna have to minimize chat so I can focus on what these questions I'm supposed to be asking. Okay. So thinking about that, this is good information.
That was a huge role for them to know anything about Holver. It was double open-ended.
Right. What I do want to ask them if they can describe any of his other, undead servants that he typically employs. That I could be on the lookout for.
One of their friends in that group, they helped ward off an attack by something they all sort of generally call a death knight. It was some sort of undead, heavily armored warrior. And it took everything they had to beat that thing into retreat. Their hardest blows, it didn't seem to affect very much. And it was a straight up tavern brawl right in the middle of a tavern. This thing just strides in.
Wow.
And they were counseling their friend on what to do next when this thing walked in to slay him. But with all 7 working in concert, they were able to drive it outside.
Wow.
But then they all had to flee because they'd caused such a ruckus in the town.
Right.
But constables joined the fray, and of course they were just cut down like wheat.
Mm-hmm. So then I mentioned that. So Holver has been flying Hestus's flag in goblin territory. Can only think to agitate the goblins, right? Some political maneuver. Although I'm not sure what his end goal would be.
To make Hestus out to be a liar, refuting all magic as he does, and to anger the goblins against Hestus, causing more political unrest on that border. Knowing Holver,
right?
That's just the beginning.
Okay.
There's going to be some bold strike carrying Hestus's banner against some very public target.
Yikes. So Miagral is pretty much the closest to him, right?
Yes.
Wow, okay. Well, sounds like I need to go warn Fraldrum of that.
Roll for me.
69.
Unless Aldred is just easier to hit. Less guarded keep. A town that's easier to hit. It could be further away.
Is it less guarded?
That's the thing. You don't know.
Okay.
But it is a possibility.
Who's do you recall I fumbled a teleport a long time ago or I rolled poorly for direction and then I ended up, was it in Aldred's Keep or no, it was
No,
another
it
lord.
wasn't
Okay.
Aldred's Keep.
I ended up in like a garden, right? Like on the outskirts, and I was kind of just wandering around hiding from the gardeners.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you wound up in an estate that you had
Yeah,
seen on
I
a
know. I can't
hillside.
remember whose that was.
Yeah, that was still within Mirgral's territory, within her
Okay,
county.
never mind. Yeah, I thought maybe that was like Algrit's territory or something. But okay. So it could be planning to strike at Algrit or Mirgral based on proximity. Yeah.
And if that strike happened to carry Mirgral's flag,
Right. Mirgral and her undead armies attack Algrit. Like, wait a sec. Oh, okay. Oh man.
Hull there makes a deal with I've forgotten his name. I saw it just a minute ago. With the third necromancer the necromancer in the veg.
God, I completely forgot about him. Chelbrick.
Yes.
Man.
And so, I mean, there's a lot of like weird possibilities.
Yeah.
Although, he has to know about him and all that kind of stuff. And he probably knows of him, but knows what he's up to is probably less likely.
It's a necromancer's triangle is what
it is. It is.
The classic trope.
Dimitri Martin, the comedian. I don't know if you know him. I think you'd really like his stuff. But he talks about they call it a love triangle. When two guys want the same girl, but that's a love angle, man. For it to be a love triangle, there's got to be something going on between these two dudes.
Exactly. Forget the girl. I love you.
Exactly. I'm torn between you. But I say, whatever you do in your current state, you cannot be near necromancy. Any necromantic influence, you would find very hard to resist. So discussion turns back to them and their own plans. There's only a few hours left before a lot of the libraries will be closed.
Right.
A lot of the temples. So they are going to go split up and try to hit 3 temples in pairs and hopefully not get kicked out for asking forbidden questions. And so they're in town at least for another day until they get a firm notion of what to do and where to go. I like that we can play these adventurers like you play. You know what I mean? Like actual PCs play. Like they're gathering information. They're discussing plans, and there's a sense that you are doing exactly what they're doing.
Right.
So they wish you well. They tell you don't hold off on the soup.
Keep putting it away.
Um,
Right. That's a good
so
idea. The warm foods like that, like liquid.
so they wish you well and they leave. It's early afternoon now.
Okay.
Um,
Good time for a little break.
yeah, I think so. Let's take a break, gang, and
Hopefully, when we come back, Brees won't be in a corner again, just
no,
dagger drawn, held in her teeth.
that's right. Scowling at strangers. So yeah, give us a few minutes to stretch our legs and refill our drinks. We'll be right back with you. So just bear with us, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Let's get Max back here and keep on playing. There's our buddy Max. So the adventurers leave to go and
Like,
press.
man, we gotta get away from this crazy bitch. Jesus.
She has
Seriously, one person like, I gotta go. Like, oh yeah, me too. Oh yeah, thanks for telling me. I gotta help you with that errand. I'll just like leave suddenly.
Well, time to hit the old dusty trail.
Yeah. So they depart. So I guess, like I said, we can roll. Well, we should do attuning to my sorcerer's spear and casting my bond familiar spell.
Right. So go to your room.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do your attunement first. Roll it up.
So we are specifically attuning to, make sure, the 10 points of spell store, the last feature I have not yet attuned to.
All right.
And that's a 17.
That does not get you anywhere.
Okay.
All right. And now you're going to use your sorcerer spear to cast.
No, that's from my tome. I guess, does it influence the tome
Oh,
spells?
it doesn't. It doesn't. But your skill does in scrolls.
There you go. And so we'll cast Bond Familiar. And it's a 61.
All right. Very good. How many castings do you have left?
So we've done 4, and one of them was exceptional. So we've done 5. I think we only need 1 more.
All right.
6 castings. Yes, once for 6 days. Okay. 1 more, and the bond is tight.
Yep.
Inescapable. This cat's gonna love me forever.
That's right.
The cat's probably gonna outlive me. I'm gonna.
Well, he does have 9 lives.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. That's why I picked a cat familiar, actually, because.
That's right. All right, roll for me.
52.
52. What would you like to do?
How do I feel about returning to the keep versus staying in Pesidarius to recover and then go back to the catacombs, right? I mean, these guys have been kind of cheering me up, and they're in town one more day. However, I also need to be back at the keep on the 3rd. It's kind of when Athene said I'd need to be back.
And when's your, what's the date now?
It is the 30th of June.
So you've got a little time.
3rd, yeah.
I think it's up to you.
Let me double check if I needed to. Does she need me on the 3rd? Or do I just need to like kind of report to her? I just want to make sure. I should check in first thing a week from. Okay, she said I'll be free from any task for at least a week. So I could come back to the keep and see, hey, what about another week?
Right.
Because the other thing I'm wondering about is Aldriff's and my parents' meeting. We still have not come to an agreement on that.
Right.
And I don't know how I feel about doing that in the state I'm in, right?
Oh, yeah. You are not at your best.
But so maybe if I want to avoid the keep, it's tough.
Well, do you just want to roll for it?
Yeah, let's just roll for it. There's a lot leaning in either direction, I feel like. So higher going to the keep, lower staying here in Pesidarius.
All right.
At least for a few more days. 3. Okay.
All right.
That's clear.
Staying in Pesidarius.
I guess the seaside air is doing something for me. So.
That's right. It's the old British remedy for women. Just, go to the seaside resort, and absolutely no reading because that taxes the female brain and all that kind of nonsense.
Of course, you've been reading too much. That's probably why.
Yeah, can you believe that was considered real medicine?
Oh my gosh. Noelle's really into Bridgerton, and we were watching a little bit. I mean, it feels very accurate. She like the daughter's trying to read a book, and the mother's just like, "Stop it, stop!" Like you're trying to get a suitor. You're not trying to be intelligent. And it's
Right.
like, okay,
Right.
it's very much like that. That's just the social norm back then.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we will stay here. So I said it's like midday.
Yes. Well, it's you woke up at midday. It's mid
Oh,
afternoon
right.
now.
Now it's mid-afternoon. Mid-afternoon. So spending the rest of the day. I mean, kind of don't want to end up like I was before. So I might, I don't know how to keep myself kind of occupied. Don't really want to do reading again. Could go on a walk around the city.
Sure.
Just change into my town clothes. Keep myself on my feet. Maybe we'll try to find any. I know we found one magic shop, I think. Or maybe we haven't found any magic shops in Pesidarius.
Yeah, I don't think you've been looking.
There's I heard about the Ebony Book, which is a magic shop, a gloomy store, as it was described as. So I've heard of one, but yeah, maybe let's go look at some magic items. And
Although, if it's a gloomy store, I don't know if you
not
want
that
to.
one. I mean, what I mean is let's
Oh,
go find some other store. Yeah,
I got you.
yeah. Let's go to the goth magic shop. I might even ask any. Well, I might have, if we want to say I asked our fellow adventurers about any
I don't think
magic
you
shop.
had the idea until
Yeah,
after
that's
they
fair.
left. So,
Okay. Well, we'll find someone else to ask then.
so yeah, there's no adventurers out, but you figure walking around the block and just asking people if they know of any curiosity shops or anything like that. And you really don't have any luck.
Well,
You're not really. No one's standoffish or treats you strangely for asking, but it's just I rolled a negative 72.
wow.
Um,
They're like, there's nothing curious in Pesidarius. You should leave. Okay, jeez.
so you do spend a lot of time just walking.
Sure.
Roll for me.
89.
This feeling is just insidious. It's got to be near dawn now.
No way.
You have been prowling the night streets.
Oh my God. My town clothes. Good Lord.
You find yourself lurking in alleys, like in the mouths of alleys, watching people. You followed a couple until they literally ran.
No. That's terrible.
Despite your successful bonding spell, Azrael's still hesitant to come within reach of you unless you literally command him.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it that you are being influenced.
Well,
And you swear you can see a little bit better in the dark.
well, that's worth it then.
That's the classic role player response, right? Totally mechanical.
Haunted by this demonic spirit, but
Exactly. I may slip my
I do
companion.
a +1 to my armor class.
Exactly. That's all I need is the numerical advantage.
Oh
All
my
of the consequences.
Okay. Let's make it back to the brandy fire. It's a miracle I wasn't kidnapped. Well, it was. I probably scared the kidnappers away.
Lurking, dashing from shadow patch to shadow patch.
Oh my god.
So dumb.
So yeah, let's rest the brandy fire, and then or maybe I should go straight to the temples.
Temples aren't going to be open.
When do they open? I guess.
They would open at first light in all likelihood.
So it's dawn. So what, like an hour or?
It's close to dawn.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Let's get some rest. Better to stalk the common folk at night. Better night vision. Oh my goodness. How long until she escalates to murder? I probably already have murdered. I
just don't really recall it. It's just so you make your way there successfully.
Like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Wanted posters with my face. I'm like, huh. That's unusual.
The night watch has to let you in. You retire for the night. How many nights you got here?
That's a good question. Probably I feel like a week. We can figure it out.
Okay.
I'll go back and add however much gold I need to. I mean, I've got 136 gold on me, so it's 4 gold a night. So now it is June 31st. No, it's July 1st. And now it's June 32nd.
That's right. Your night vision is better, but your ability to understand dates and calendars is wrecked. It's one of the -1 for use of calendar, +1 to armor class. So you retire, fall asleep relatively quickly, toss and turn a lot. You wake mid-afternoon. Your PowerPoints are full. Your exhaustion is at 52.
Okay. Let's how do I feel about going to the temples? How up to the task do I feel?
Yeah, you feel strong enough to do it and to face people and light and everything else.
And then we'll go downstairs, get some breakfast, and set off for that.
5 silver. You and Azrael eat. The lights in the common room are particularly bright today, you find.
Oh man. Oh man.
Temple of Lewin. Is that where you're going to guess the one you...
Yeah, that's the closest. That's what I
Yeah.
know about. So we'll although that's the one I got pissed off that one guy.
Yeah.
I forget which role he was. Hopefully he's not their top tier demonic healer.
Right.
Yes, we'll go back to that temple.
I'm the only one they've got. Are you kidding me?
It's the only priest in the whole temple.
That's right. He is exhausted. He wasn't, you didn't upset him. He was just exhausted doing all those jobs. Find your way to the temple, of course, no problem. It's so nearby.
Okay.
Find yourself hesitant to go in. Roll.
I better not like trip some alarm. 22.
It's going to be a lot of people in there. It's probably going to be really bright. I mean, so you're a night person now. I mean,
all right. It is. Oh man. I mean, are there smaller temples? I think I could find that would be less.
necessarily, they would be smaller temples.
Do I? Okay. Do I want to push past this feeling? Can I push past this and go into this temple, or would I end up seeking out something less crowded?
Roll for me.
26.
Smaller is the only option you see forward.
Okay. Smaller temples, they give you more time. They're more, local.
The priest to person ratio is lower.
Pray locally. Don't go to those
it.
chain temples.
That's right.
There is something intimidating, though, about mega churches, I have to say. And you just like see hundreds of cars parked outside. I'm like, if I were to ever attend a congregation, for like the third time in my life, it would not be
right. Not be a mega.
Yeah. Find a little chapel or something.
It's mid-afternoon, so you only have a few hours before dark.
Oh boy.
Your sleep schedule's wrecked. You're now up all night.
Doing God knows what.
Exactly. Does anyone else have a rat taste in their mouth? Because I do.
I should probably ask someone about where to find a temple before I start wandering around again. Is there a smaller temple? It's the only way I can word it.
Let's find out what we got nearby. Yes, There's a small temple down by the ports. Not a big surprise because it's a temple to Jalrit, god of the sea and wealth.
Okay.
Depicted as an immensely fat, bearded, and bald man. Get decent directions.
Is it Jawit? Jawit?
Jalret. Jalrett.
Jalret.
You make your way down there fairly successful. It takes you a while, but you need to roll to see if you go in.
17. Ooh.
Let me remind you that you have miracle rolls.
Yeah. I mean, seems a good opportunity for a miracle roll. A priest is able to, see me hesitating outside the temple and come to my aid.
All right.
Here we go. Lucky double 18. That's one more than the last roll.
That's right.
Okay.
This temple is still pretty big. You realize you've been walking this whole time with your hood pulled up, blocking the sun.
Obi-Wan wants to roll a miracle roll. Just put how you can't put like dice. I don't know why I thought you could just put a little dice emoji. They need dice emoji.
They do need
0, 0, 0.
1,000.
Well, just the double R, right?
Right. I got
two
you.
O's in the one O, yeah.
You do think there's got to be tons of pubs down here. Probably more singing than at the upscale places.
All right. That seems like the better alternative, yeah.
Sound of song attracts you to one, really cheers you.
Okay.
You go in. There are adventurers here. There are sailors here. You throw down a couple of copper for a beer. Well, at least tonight you spend the whole night singing.
All right. I'll take that.
You spend about 5 bronze here.
Okay.
You basically close the place down. You kept near the fire. Guys who got a glimpse at your face encourage you to pull your hood off. Quinn is really working some magic on you there.
Quinn's the devil on my shoulder,
The
and
devil on your shoulder. That's right. Don't really glean any information. You do make a contact at the local temple, the nearby temple of Jalrit. Younger woman, Elven. Her name is Kielon, Kielon. She doesn't seem to notice your condition, but is there just enjoying the company and so on, and wanted to sit with another woman.
I'm sorry, this is someone from the temple?
Yes, who is in the pub.
Right. And I just came across them, or she introduced herself to me?
Yes.
Okay.
And
is this is retroactive, like at
this is over the hours you spend at the pub.
Right.
Like I roll like if you I'm rolling very generally like
right.
I was just and like, oh, what about contacts or anything like that? And you rolled high for that. And so you find yourself hesitant to speak about your condition to her.
Right.
You know, she has a job, so she leaves fairly early on, but knowing someone may make it easier for you to go and seek help,
right?
Fight the influence. You dance with several sailors, but you basically shut the place down. It's the wee hours. You actually do feel tired. So you get a room here, of course, or you can make your way back to the Brandy Fire.
I'll get a room here. And maybe I could just go to the temple in the morning. Right nearby. Glad Aldrich wasn't here to. I don't think he's the jealous type, but dancing with a bunch of burly sailors.
That's right. You wake up and it's like just a bloodbath. You thought you were dancing, but it wasn't.
Oh my God. That would be pretty crazy.
Yeah. So let's wrap it up here. You having gone to bed.
Okay.
A room here is 4 copper. The inn is called the Broken Jib.
I don't even know what a jib is, but I know it's something to do with boats.
That's right.
That's good.
You fall asleep.
All right.
I think that's a good place to wrap up. It's an interesting, it's a different sort of battle, isn't it?
Yes, It is very different.
Huh.
But it's still kind of addressing it in the same way, using my like mind and role playing. It's like, how can we, play this out so my character can recover from this and doesn't endanger themselves more.
Right. Endanger others.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
So, well, guys, that's episode 145 in the can. Thank you, as always, for joining us. If you think we're doing a good job, hop to Donor Box and send us a little love. If you want to hear more from Max, he has his own YouTube channel that you should check out, where he discusses the role of original soundtracks and music in video games. Thanks, as always, to Elliot Dunovitz for their terrific character art for Brise that we use almost every session. If you want to see more of their work, please go to artstation.com/Tortolua. And I've written a book called A Shore Too Far, fantasy novel that you can find on Amazon in ebook and print. Take a look at it if you're so inclined. And, Max, why don't you say goodbye to the lovely people?
Yeah, I hope you like this episode. Very different from our usual fare, but it was like our mental health episode. Yeah, and stay healthy, everybody. And hope we see you next week.
That's right. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for everything.